Good afternoon. I come from legal profession. Seem to be a little isolated here. Except me and the Honorable Minister, Praful Pancheriya ji, all are chartered accountants. The setting couldn't be more difficult for me. I know chartered accountants in and out. I have greatly benefited out of them. My neighbor in Jaipur was Mr. Sunil Goyal, your past president. Whenever in difficulty, he was always available. When I got into Parliament for the first time, 1989, in Lok Sabha from Jhunjhunu, I had the good fortune to be a minister and had encounter with Mr. K.N. Memani. He hails from my state, I hail from his state. A very talented man, very methodical, very meticulous in approach, and had no fault lines. I thought the journey will end and my connect with chartered accountants will last only with filing of returns and auditing of my accounts. But chartered accountants ne mera picha nahi choda. I became vice president of the country and by virtue, chairman Rajya Sabha. I have enormously talented chartered accountant as leader of the house. Union Minister Shri Piyush Goyal. Let me tell you, friends, chartered accountants, no chartered accountant perhaps has ever risen in parliamentary setup to this high office. Parliament comprises of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, known as Upper House, the House of Elders. Prime Minister is leader of the Lok Sabha and Mr. Piyush Goyal is leader of Rajya Sabha. I can assure you, your loss of this very distinguished chartered accountant merit holder is gain of Indian Parliament. But then it's not easy to deal with chartered accountants. God had been very kind to me. And I had the benefit, and I still have the benefit, of former CBDT chairman Mr. P.C. Modi, 1982 batch Indian Revenue Service officer. By virtue of his office as CBDT chairman, he knows how to deal with chartered accountants. This has greatly helped me in getting the best out of Mr. Piyush Goyal. Shri Praful Pancheriya ji, we are together. None of us is a chartered accountant. Madam Asma Resmoki, greetings to this country. You are president of International Federation of Accounts. You have come to this country, home to 1/6 of humanity, in a year where Parliament has passed a legislation providing for 1/3 reservation, horizontal and vertical, for women in Lok Sabha and legislatures. Welcome to this country. Ranjit Kumar Agarwal, we both belong to a category where sometimes people sympathize with us. We are vice president. And friends, I have kept for record because chartered accountants need record. They don't act without record. One chief minister complimented me on becoming vice president, but addressed me as vice president, VICED. Another very dear friend of mine, I don't know by design or accident, put me in the category of vice president, WISE. And the third one congratulated me greatly but forgot to sign it. Why I say so? Signature events in the world are great. They indicate branding. But your signature, friends, is signature. This is unrivaled brand because this brand contains an element of impregnability. Your signature insulates the vulnerable. That kind of protection, which normally is not available. Aniket Talati, President, I am beholden to him. He became president at the age of 36. I know the problems when you become president at a young age. I was president of the High Court Bar around the same age. So when he introduced his secretary to me, I said, "Are you on the same page?" He said, "Yes, but I know it is ritualistic. Normally they are not." We have in Rajya Sabha a very distinguished chartered accountant, your past president, Mr. N.D. Gupta. Enormously talented, highly decorous, will always obey the chair and never disturb or disrupt the house. His son, Nirav, has also been president. But we have in Aniket Talati, and I'll tell Mr. N.D. Gupta, Aniket has stolen March. He has stolen March on a very good ground. He is a third generation chartered accountant. His distinguished father is present in the audience. My greetings to him. His grandfather was part of that system which started a chapter at Ahmedabad. He brings on the table unique DNA that will help the organization for sure. Debashish ji, anything from West Bengal, namaskar. I have been Governor State of West Bengal for 3 years, and I know the power of a gender. But hats off to him. He could pick up the courage and organize my functions, which means he knows how to take risks very safely. Jay Kumar Behra ji, this place, friends, you have very wisely chosen this place. Mahatma Mandir, full of sublimity. Gandhi Nagar, and then state of Gujarat. I salute the land of Gujarat. I salute the land of Gujarat for giving us this day in Amrit Kal. father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi, through satyagraha and non-violence, got us freedom. Sardar Patel, the Iron Man, a befitting statue of unity, is a tribute to him. He could effect integration of states, princely states, into what is now Bharat. And now, after 3 decades of coalition governance, difficult scenario, I was witness to it. I was a union minister in 1990. Our gold in physical form had to be airlifted, to be placed to 2 banks in Switzerland to sustain our fiscal credibility. But this man of destiny has elevated India to that level that our foreign exchange today is over 600 billion. India's Prime Minister is a man of vision, execution, and he has a passion which he realizes by putting India on a fast trajectory of growth. As was indicated very rightly by your loss and our gain, Mr. Piyush Goyal. In September 2022, we had the great distinction of becoming the 5th largest global economy, overtaking our erstwhile colonial rulers, UK and France. But what is more important, and which this audience can appreciate, is just a decade ago, we were fragile 5. India was counted amongst fragile 5 nations, a burden to the global economy. And look at where we have come. We have traversed this distance. The words of the IMF president resonate in my ears. I have had the occasion to meet her on 3 occasions in Phnom Penh, Qatar, and G20. India, according to IMF, is a hot favorite destination of investment and opportunity. कहाँ से कहाँ आ गए? What a soothing development. The World Bank president, a person of Indian origin, who came to attend P20, G20 and P20 both, he reflected digital penetration in India, digital accomplishment in India is of a level achieved in 6 years, which is not achievable according to him in 47 years. And why he said so? In 2022, our digital transactions, friends, and no one knows better than those who audit. You audit. In 2022, our digital transactions were 4 times that of USA, UK, France, and Germany taken together. 4 times. Further, per capita data consumption of internet, our record is unrivaled. We are more than that of USA and China taken together. The people in this room are not ordinary individuals. You are nerve center, epicenter of big change. You can catalyze big moment. You will shape what Bharat will be at 2047. It is your efforts, your far-sighted approach, your commitment that will take Bharat at 2047, when it celebrates centenary of its independence, and be the most developed nation on the planet, and that is a reality I may not be able to see. Most of you will be able to see because you are foot soldiers in this great rise, incremental growth trajectory of this nation, to see Bharat blossoming and regaining what we had ages ago. Friends, it is an absolute privilege and honor to be amongst you all at the inauguration of the Global Professional Accountants Convention. The thoughtful theme of this convention, connecting the globe, creating value, very thoughtful, is contemporaneously relevant to the dynamics of our economy. Friends, your theme is in sync with the G20 motto, Vasudha Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. We have not created this motto because we were hosting as president G20. It is a sense and reflection of thousands of years of our civilizational ethos. We have lived with it, we have worked for it. Let me remind you of a recent event. COVID pandemic bled us, bled the entire world in a non-discriminatory manner. High and mighty, rich and poor all suffered. Even during that time, living up to our motto, one earth, one family, one future, our Bharat extended assistance to about 100 countries by supplying co-vaccine. What a great accomplishment. Institutions are vital for democratic governance, for nurturing of democratic values. But yours is a very special one. It is fortunately playing a stellar role in building, standardizing, and sustaining the financial and accounting framework of the nation. This is vital. If this does not happen, other things will go down the drain. So your role is unique. And any dilution of that will have impact, cascading impact. The motto of ICI, Ya, Yes, Supteshu, Jagdeep. Translated in English, it means a person who is awake in those that sleep. And we have people moved by greed who are not in sleep, they feign sleep. And therefore, you as chartered accountants have to live up to this motto because it encapsulates your role. A chartered accountant, and mind you, a one-time lawyer is saying so. How difficult it must be for me. Having been in the legal profession for over 4 decades, 3 decades being as a senior advocate, I am paying this compliment, moved by your historic achievements. A chartered accountant is an important pillar, a spinal one, in economic growth of the nation. And why? You prevent corruption, malfunctioning. You engage in unraveling of window dressing, detecting frauds in companies and the like. Chartered accountants, as custodians of financial integrity, now this is what I'm indicating, need to exemplify by action to secure transparent and accountable financial system. I say so with emphasis because You alone can do it, no one else can do it. This is your exclusive domain. And this is a very powerful domain because if a chartered accountant stands up, the resistance can be momentary. Ultimately, he has to prevail. That is the power you have. And that is why I said your signature is signature. There can be, now this I am saying with full sense of conviction. Having gained experience in constitutional positions as governor, a chairman, Rajya Sabha, and vice president, apart from being in legal profession for 4 decades. Friends, there can be no legal transgressions or window dressing if chartered accountants are so determined. I have no doubt to serve our Bharat land, to be in service of the nation, to see its incremental trajectory going up, to see Bharat as a developed nation in 2047. Your determination I can read in your eyes. It will be there for the nation. I need to invite your attention to the contemporaneous mechanism of governance that is singularly helpful to you for unleashing your energy, channelizing your wisdom to serve Bharat. You will secure public good. And what is that big change which has taken place in the last 10 years? The man of destiny from Gujarat, tallest leader of the world, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has created an ecosystem where transparency and accountability are new norm. They are not exception. They are general. No one knows better than the audience here. There was a time when power corridors were infested by corrupt elements, liaison elements that extra legally leveraged commercial decision making. They are now fully sanitized. You will not see in power corridors these menacing elements. They are gone for good. They are gone forever. They have been consigned to history. This is one change which will be helping the chartered accountants. Otherwise, corruption is the greatest handicap to a chartered accountant working. Because there will be someone taking your job that I will have it accomplished through corrupt means. But when there is zero accommodation for corruption, chartered accountant blossoms. He can play on front foot with a straight bat. The second big change, be you ever so high, the law is always above you, is often quoted globally to indicate supremacy of law. But this in our country now is a ground reality. And no one is beyond the reach of law. You know it much better than I do. A category of people who entertained a thought that they are above law. Law cannot reach them. They are a special category. They have learned their lessons and the hard way. This is a second big development. And the third, banking inclusion has resulted in game-changing explosion, resulting in unprecedented growth to the benefit of weaker and vulnerable sections of society. We had a Prime Minister, sincere Prime Minister, He spoke the truth in 80s that the amount sent from Delhi, only 10% reaches to the targeted person. The leakage was 90%. Now the mechanism is different. 100% direct transfer is taking place, and this is on account of banking inclusion. Imagine, in last 10 years, over 400 million bank accounts have been opened of those who never thought of being in that position. The accounts were opened at the initiative of the government, and that has paid heavy dividends to us. It has stood us in good stead, both in COVID and otherwise. As a son of farmer, I take pride that in the country, over 11 crore farmers are getting direct transfers 3 times a year. And the amount so far is over 2,60,000 crores. What is important is not that the amount is being sent to them, but what is of supreme importance is that my brothers and sisters in the farming community are enabled to receive that amount direct. That is the big achievement. It is on account of technological penetration. Friends, we had tryst with destiny when we got independence. Parliament met at midnight, August 14, 15, 1947. But the man from Gujarat, the man of the moment for 1/6 of humanity, a global leader, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, did something amazing on the night of 30th of June and 1st July. GST, the largest tax reform since independence, effecting complete transformation of indirect taxation landscape of the country, was unfolded. This was, friends, a qualitative shift. It was our tryst with modernity. I express a deep sense of gratitude to everyone before me for working hard, overcoming hiccups, changing mindset of business, trade, and industry, and giving GST its due. Your efforts fructified. Your efforts made it a game changer, and the goods and service tax was converted by you into good and simple tax. The nation is reaping bountiful gain out of it. I have indicated these factors only because there is now a congenial ecosystem for chartered accountants to play in the joints. They no longer have to battle against a system which could bring their substitutes. You now have no substitute. Your domain is exclusive. Your signature will carry impregnability, and therefore you have a larger role to play. Adherence to a fair taxation and financial reporting system is much more than merely providing revenue to the government. Ethics is important in every walk of life. But if there is dilution of ethics, it has impact for the violator. It has a ripple effect. But when ethics is compromised in a profession like yours, it has a huge cascading impact. It is no less than an earthquake in fiscal world. Ethics is non-negotiable. ethics is not optional. Ethics is the only way out. Friends, ethics is quintessential to your profession to ensure trust and integrity in financial reporting, auditing, taxation, and consulting services. Out of experience, I can say, chartered accountants in Bharat have the highest ethics quotient. They make several efforts to see their clients adhere to rule of law. They inspire them, motivate them. But now the system has made mechanism more weaponized for you. And you must therefore be not in a suggestion mode, but in the driver's seat. You, as informed members of this important professional category, are fully alive to a situation which the world faced. This was in mid-2022. A global auditing accounting firm of great repute, reckoned to be one of the big 5 or 6. I may be wrong by 1 or 2 slots. It collapsed. It disappeared. This was triggered on account of its questionable accounting practices for an energy and telecommunication company. And what was the underlying premise? In an unqualified manner, it caved in, gave a professional approach, and ingratiated with the management. We in this country have to remember what Gandhiji said. There is everything available for one's need, but not for one's greed. This happened. We have to be on the watch out to see that such like situations are contained. We have to work in a manner to contain this trend, menacing trend, a dangerous trend, a trend that has potential to upset the fiscal ecosystem and impact it very severely on weaker, vulnerable, small tax-paying people. The good thing is that by and large, our chartered accountant fraternity is not part of it. You are above it. But your job doesn't end there. तालाब में एक भी मछली यदि गलत है, you have to sanitize the तालाब. Your fair name, your global reputation has to be preserved by taking care of such elements. I have no doubt, without fear of contradiction, I can assert, if you are firm, you are determined, you believe in your conviction, you think it is in service of Bharat Mata, nothing can stop you from neutralizing such transgressions that breed such menacing scenario. Friends, I am before an audience that has a huge potential to generate exponential growth of the economy. Because you know everything about it. You are beyond X-ray CT scan. You are beyond MRI. You are the finest form of MRI. And therefore, I call upon you. I urge you to nurture the spirit of economic nationalism amongst trade, business, and industry. It pains my heart like yours when in a country of this size, our precious foreign exchange is drained out by way of import of furniture, carpets, curtains, diya, candles, whatnot. Economic nationalism cannot be compromised on the premise of fiscal gain. You alone, more than the government or anyone else, can do it by enlightening, sensitizing trade, business, and industry that we must not get into our country what we have here only because it is available slightly cheaper. Friends, let me give you two impacts it has immediately. When we import items that are available in the country from outside, we are injuring employment prospects of some. We are retarding entrepreneurial growth. The Prime Minister in his Mann Ki Baat appealed to everyone, be vocal for local. I am so glad from the podium here, one of you, your current leader, has given this clarion call. I call upon you to engage into this activity and inculcate in the business, trading, and industry community a deep commitment to economic nationalism. Why I appeal to you, unlike others? Because the domain leveraging is done by business, trade, and industry. And no one can have more critical role to sensitize and enlighten them than yourself. Because you know from their balance sheets, you know from their audits, the real situation. Another aspect on which I seek to draw your indulgence for nation's benefit is export of raw material. Now, if a country like ours, with such kind of entrepreneurial skill, such kind of human genius, we go to ports, iron ore being exported, raw material being exported. The writing on the wall is very clear. We are not capable of adding value to our raw material. And we, in fact, are. But because some people think it is easy money, let me send the raw material to another country, they will use it. We will have to develop a culture that we engage in value addition. Our ports will carry material which is value added to raw material and not the raw materials. Friends, as informed professionals, fully involved in evaluation of economic factors, your interventions, unlike other interventions, will go a long way in shaping mindset of industry, trade and business, and thereby ensuring blossoming of economic nationalism, as also motivating trade, business, and industry to engage in value addition of raw materials. Think within. No one can do it more efficiently, effectively, impactfully than the people before me. It was indicated here, and I'm so glad it has been done. Not many people know, but you are informed. Time to work towards availing recent groundbreaking technologies and advancements like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Web 3.0, and the kind. India now is one of the few countries that are critically engaged in what we call disruptive technologies. Quantum computing, could you imagine? The number of countries in the world are not in double digit that are engaged in quantum computing. We are. Our quantum mission, there is already an allocation of over 6,000 crores. Our green hydrogen mission, there is already an allocation of more than 19,000 crores. Now it is for you, chartered accountants, to tell your clients that by 2030, green hydrogen will invite investment of over 8 lakh crores and generate employment for 6 lakh crores. You can be an epicenter to inspire your clients, the corporates, to engage into this activity well in time. Like it or not, disruptive technologies are our bedfellows. We will have to live with them. And therefore, we have to ensure we unleash the positivity. In the digital era, all efforts need to be made by chartered accountants so as to be in the front line of aligning with digital ecosystems. I'm so happy to note that our chartered accountants are doing significantly well in this direction. The emergence of the fintech segment can be a case in point. Friends, I greatly appreciate your endeavors to promote and secure financial inclusion, financial and tax literacy, social security, and pension planning. These are resulting in empowering the common man. These efforts must gain momentum. The greatest challenge these days is that an informed mind, a knowledgeable person, will try to monetize ignorance of others to secure political equity. You can neutralize that. You are well equipped to do that, and I'm sure this is sure to happen. It was in late 80s when I had an encounter, not in that sense, a professional encounter as a young lawyer with a sitting Supreme Court judge who had indicated in one of the judgments that tax planning, tax evasion, and tax avoidance are nearly the same. Go to a chartered accountant well in time. I didn't say Valentine, I said well in time. And you will have good tax planning, sound sleep. If you happen to be a very powerful man, we have before us former CBDT chairman for long, very impactful tenure. It becomes avoidance when you are powerful. But if you are not that powerful, you are vulnerable, it is evasion. Now, things have changed. Tax evasion and financial frauds endanger the financial stability and economic growth of economy. As watchdogs, your capacity is potent enough to contain these. Mind you, a chartered accountant acting spinally with highest ethical standards, no challenge can undo his endeavors. Others will have to fall in line. A very small fraction, if gets out of the line, cannot pick up courage to challenge because you are on a firm ground. The Honorable Minister, we came together. He told me, you are a lawyer, don't be harsh with chartered accountants. Well, no one can be against chartered accountants. I have been a very disciplined taxpayer, did everything according to my chartered accountant, and if there has been a notice, there was one during his tenure. Chartered accountant say, please pay. So I'm in a compliant board. But I am making it very mild. because it is not good for me to ignore leader of the House in Rajya Sabha. But at the same time, I wear the other hat of Vice President of India. So I cannot miss the great opportunity of interacting with such minds who alone can deliver to the exclusion of everyone else. And I therefore say, a tax system is only as good or as complicated as you make it. You are the ultimate architect of it. Take a pledge to be a global leader in benchmarking best practices that enhance ease and transparency. As Governor of State of West Bengal, I was heading a group of 10 governors to give a report on ease of governance in business. So that was my first encounter about the difficulties which business people face. Because I was a professional, filing a return for me was not that difficult, no complicated. And we came out with a good report, getting able assistance from Niti Aayog. Advising on tax planning is your domain, as there is a domain for legal professional also to advise a client. But this domain has a line, a thin line. This should not extend to tax dodging and tax evasion. Now, this thin line, you know it more than I do. You are the custodians of thin line between tax planning and evasion. Always tilt in favor of tax planning and condemn tax evasion. Friends, I am confident that ICAI and its members will keep up efforts to move ethically towards building a nation defined by ethical financial reporting and tax compliance. White-collar crimes don't leave behind a smoking gun. They leave behind broken families, hearts, and a shaken confidence. You are potent antidote, and not medically evolved by your profession. You are a potent antidote to this pernicious mechanism. We need to be alive more vigilantly to this particular area. As pillars of financial ecosystem, the chartered accountant should embark on a journey of further transformations in shaping the new and resilient profession, which is driven by ever-evolving technology. Some of the people may find adaptation of technology to be difficult. But you are the ones who converted GST into good and simple tax. The nation would ever be beholden to chartered accountant fraternity for doing this yeoman service to 1/6 of humanity. You are capable of doing it. Time for soul searching and reflections. Scratch beyond the surface by incisive probe those who are concerned with auditing balance sheets. By and large, a large number is doing it transparently, effectively. But if there is a small segment, I wouldn't say segment, the number is too small. It can't be a segment. You have to pinpoint it. Like legal profession, you have a strong professional mechanism to deal with such delinquencies. Then tilt towards national interest and not individual welfare. Your being harsh to the individual will reflect your kindness to the nation. In the global theater of outsourcing financial and accounting processes, India is emerging as global hub on the premise of its outstanding human resource. The contributions of ICAI in this endeavor, very, very commendable. Result-oriented. I was so happy to note the statistics in this behalf. All your efforts, silent efforts, they are making big noise in a positive sense. We can continue being proactive in that area. this congregation of more than 4,000 professionals, and you are unlike any other profession. You are unique. You are distinct. You are never in search of work. The work is searching you. So you have that kind of stability. So this congregation, in such large number, more than 4,000, from across the globe, in this convention is a valuable opportunity for all stakeholders to discuss, deliberate, interact, know each other's point of view, and in the process evolve best practices that can make a difference to the economy in a positive sense. This convention for sure will prove to be a true window to the future in relation to global accounting standards and practices as envisioned by leadership of the organization, its various partners from financial and accounting sectors across the world. To conclude, I think I said the right time to conclude. Sometimes this expression "to the conclude" is very wholesome, soothing. But problem arises, and which I face in Rajya Sabha. It is meant only to get leaves of another 30 minutes. This will not happen here. Friends, I am energized, motivated, inspired. I carry from this place hope, optimism, and confidence that ICAI will continue to make its mark on the global canvas for further enrichment and enhancement of the accounting and auditing standards and ethical integrity at national and global level. Wishing the convention a great success and best wishes to all of you. Jai Bharat.